TII Item 419, January 26, 2017, iOS 10.2.1 Goldmaster, and iOS 10.3 Beta 1.
Welcome to Today in iPhone.
I like it a lot.
Today in iPhone.
Hey, Google!
Oh yeah!
My beautiful iPhone, which I never have out of my hand and that I do everything with and has become an extension of who I am.
This episode is sponsored by Away. Go to awaytravel.com/TII and enter promo code TII to save $20 off the best luggage you've ever owned. This episode is sponsored by Boll & Branch. Go right now to bollandbranch.com and use promo code TII to get $50 off the nicest sheets and cotton products you've ever owned. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Rob, and this is the Today in iOS podcast. Sorry, no music again for this episode. A lot of music. So if you have some music created on an iOS device, send it in. I want to thank Barry for sending in the artwork for today's show. Barry wrote the following. Hi, Rob. Here's a pic I shot of my family while on vacation this past summer. It is a HDR shot with a 6S Plus. I added the text with the app over. I tried to make it look like skywriting, but there wasn't a cloud type font. Regards, Barry S. Well, thanks, Barry, for sending in this artwork. And folks, you can see Barry's artwork in the free TI app via the bonus button for episode 419 or at instagram.com/todayios. And also as a standalone post in the VIP section and at facebook.com/todayios. So a whole bunch of places. If you have some artwork and or music that you have created on your iOS device that you would like to share with the audience, please email it to me at todayinios@gmail.com. Please make sure to include which app or apps you use to create said artwork and or music. And I mentioned this on the last show, and I'll say it again. One thing I'd love to do this year is if you can get a picture of yourself in front of your local Apple store, take that picture, put the TII or Today in iOS branding on it, and also write the city or state or country on that artwork of which Apple store that is. So I want you to picture in front of your local Apple store, indicate the Apple store, put the TI branding on it, send it to me, and I want to kick off those artwork come April when we start the 10-year anniversary of this show. And as I mentioned before, I am completely out of music, so if you have some music you've created on an iOS device, good or bad, send it in. Some bad stuff sometimes is actually good if it's really bad. In this segment of How We're Unworthy, we have the following quote. Quote, if you look at customers we have on the BB10 so far, 55% of them are coming from Apple's operating system, iOS, and then also from Android. So obviously, we have a large base of potential customers we can convert. How better to reach that audience than on the digital device they have with them all day? I see that as a great opportunity for us, and we are going to over-index mobile marketing for that reason, unquote. Frank Bulburn, Chief Marketing Officer, BlackBerry, the 5th of June, 2013. And then in November 2013, Frank was no longer at BlackBerry. Enough said. This week we have promo codes for iMessage stickers. Yes, the first time for iMessage stickers. Yay! These are for Alice's Adventures in Wonderland stickers. Here is the written review/comments from the dev. Quote, hello, Rob. I've been listening to your podcast for years and an iPhone user since the 3G. This year, I thought I'd have a go at making some stickers. It would be great if you could feature it on the show. They sell for 99 cents, but I have generated 10 promo codes for listeners. My Alice in Wonderland sticker pack came about from being a collector of the original Sir John Tennell illustrations for many years. The illustrations are just beautiful, and there are 50 included, as well as 10 quotations. I intend to push new stickers in a future update. Very best wishes, Darren from the UK, unquote. Well, thanks, Darren, for your comments and review of your iMessage stickers, and for sending in the 10 promo codes giveaway. Really 9. One of them's going to the wife. Folks, if you would like a chance for a promo code for these stickers, send an email to todayinios@gmail.com and put Alice in the subject line. A quick reminder, if you're an app dev or an iBook author or an iMessage sticker creator, email me if you want your app or iBook or stickers featured in the promo giveaway segment for free. We just need the 5 promo codes or more to give away. Simply email me at todayinios@gmail.com and please include the 60-second or less audio review of your app or iBook or stickers, indicating you are the dev, author, or creator. Also, when you send in the promo codes, please make sure to let me know when they expire. Well, iOS 10.2.1 finally made it to Goldmaster and was released this week. This after 4 betas for a double dot update. And what did we gain with iOS 10.2.1? What magical new feature? Well, bug fixes and optimizations are the name of the game for this update. Oh, and there's security improvements. Officially from Apple, there is a mention of under-the-hood kernel improvements and bugs that cause auto-lock to unlock when the Apple Watch is off the user's wrist. And, well, some other bug fixes, and, well, it's all pretty much yawn. Should you update today? Well, if today is around January 26th, wait a few days, or better, wait until episode 420 comes out. But so far, I have not heard of anything bad, and it does have security fixes, so if you have a work-issued phone, you might want to jump on this update right now. For personal use, I wait until episode 420 just to be safe. If you are a dev, Apple did release iOS 10.3 Beta 1 on January 24th. This was the one that was supposed to have been released on January 10th, according to Sonny Dixon. Missed it by 2 weeks, which is pretty bad as he predicted it less than 2 weeks before that. Sonny Dixon missed on the date in that quote-unquote leak, and he missed in the features, as in there was no theater mode in popcorn icon. Also, there was no mention in his leak or his predictions of one of the key features in iOS 10.3 Beta 1. And maybe really the biggest feature in that new beta overall, and that is the Find My AirPods. So yeah, he didn't have a leak, sorry. Just making a prediction and a guess, and he guessed wrong. As you start to read about 10.3 Beta 1, what you're going to read is that the AirPods are now included in Find My iPhone app. And I've seen people already misreporting on it that it lets you find them like the band app Find AirPods. Oh, that is so wrong. They do two different things that combined actually make finding your AirPods really quick and easy. I showed my youngest son Porter how to use both apps. I hid one AirPod and then sent him on his way. Less than 60 seconds. He found it using both the apps. Actually, it was closer to 40 seconds. Apple should let Find AirPods app back in the App Store. Boo, Apple, boo. The dev did tell me again, it's not going to happen, but that's not his fault, that's Apple's. So let me explain how these two apps or features are different and can be used together. The new AirPods and Find My iPhone app, the stock app that you use to find your iPhone and iPads and other things, Apple's app, that will tell you where the devices are located, like they do for your iPhone and your iPad, which is they show you them on the overhead map, which basically lets you know that, well, they're in your house or somewhere near your house, or they're somewhere else. But that's as close as it gets. You don't have no idea where in your house they are. Are they in the bedroom, the basement? Are they in the car? Where are they at? Are they in the pants pocket or your jacket pocket or somewhere else? But what you can do with the Find My iPhone app is you can play a sound on your AirPods. This makes it really easy to find once you get close. That brings us back to Find My AirPods app. It gets you close with a strength meter. And once you get close, where more than 3/4 of the signal strength bar is showing black, I told my son, I said, once you get there, more than 3/4, I go, then just switch over to the other app and hit the play sound button on Find My iPhone app. He did that and was able to quickly get close enough that when he played the sound, he could find them. And I even put them between cushions, couch cushions. So it was not something he was going to find any other way. So combined, these two apps really help. But sadly, Apple banned one of them, and this great combo like peanut butter and jelly, we only got peanut butter, we don't have the jelly. Per Find My iPhone app, it will locate them if you are within Bluetooth range of an iOS device using the same iCloud account. If they are not in range, say you left them at work and you're now home, it will show the last place they were when they were connected to one of your iOS devices. Same if the battery dies or you close them in a case. When you play a sound on the AirPods, it almost sounds like crickets chirping, which is a nice segue into our next new feature with iOS 10.3 Beta 1. You can now ask Siri for cricket scores and stats for the Indian Premier League or the International Cricket Council. Some other new features for 10.3, quote, third-party payment app developers will be able to integrate Siri to pay and check the status of bills, while ride booking apps will be able to call on Siri to schedule a ride. Apple's CarPlay feature for auto adds shortcuts to launch the last 3 used apps, while Maps now displays EV charging stations. 3D Touch on the weather icon, and the Maps brings you to your hourly forecasts, chance of rain, and daily high and low temperatures, unquote. But that's not all. The second best new feature for iOS 10.3 is one that, well, we've been waiting for. It's a widget for the podcast app. To add this, tap on the home button when locked. Don't use your fingerprint that unlocks it. Just tap with one of the fingers that isn't registered. Swipe from left to right. That'll get you to the widget screen. Then scroll down, find the edit button, and then tap that. Then enter your passcode. Then scroll down and then find the podcast app under the ones to add and add that. Then scroll up. Then move the podcast widget to the top of the list of widgets. So yes, that is a nice addition. Other new features are Safari now supports reduced motion preferences in web apps. CarPlay gains quick access to albums from songs and music and new up next screen. It is reported that 10.3 uses the new Apple File System, APFS, which is better optimized for solid-state storage and should provide improved performance overall. Will be interesting to see if it brings noticeable improvement to older iOS devices running iOS 10. I'm going to put it on an iPhone 5S and see how it works on that. Another new option is under Settings, iTunes, and App Store. There is a toggle on by default called In-App Ratings and Reviews. The description is, quote, help developers and other users know what you think by letting apps ask for product feedback, unquote. Yeah, remember where that toggle is. We'll talk more about it later in the episode. Another place there are some changes under Settings, Privacy. There used to be a section called Diagnostic and Usage. That's now called Analytics, and there is now an option called Share iCloud Analytics that you can then toggle on or off. I went through most of the settings. I will do some more checking between now and the next episode to see if there's any other new features that were added or options that were added, especially when we get to beta 2. Sometimes they add some additional features on beta 2. Devs started looking into iOS 10.3 source code so that they could find something to report that would allow them to break their NDA with Apple. And what they found this time, first, is a floating keyboard that hovers over apps in a picture-in-picture sort of way. This is not live, but hidden in the code, so it may never come to be, or may be active in iOS 10.3 beta 2, or again, may never come to be. This floating keyboard on the iPad is said to be able to be moved from one side of the split screen to the other side when you're in split screen mode. So I can see some advantages there. We shall see if this ever gets out of the alpha mode. There is also another hidden keyboard that is a gestural keyboard. This one lets you swipe left or right on any key to delete or add a space. These might not make it to the iOS 10.3, but maybe we'll see them with iOS 11 if they don't make it in 10.3. This could be one of those things where Apple's devs were trying to do some advanced testing, screening to see what they thought. While theater mode was a no-show in iOS 10.3 beta 1, sorry, Sonny, your quote source, unquote, didn't pan out, did it? There is some mentions of theater mode in the notes for the next beta of the watchOS, which is not yet available to devs. So maybe there will be theater mode after all, just not for the iPhone right away. In addition to iOS 10.3 beta 1, Apple also released on January 24th, tvOS 10.2 beta 1 from Apple. Quote, about tvOS 10.2 beta. tvOS 10.2 includes new features, bug fixes, and improvements in the OS and SDK, including accelerated scrolling support for UIKit and tvML-Kit apps, device enrollment program support, expanded mobile management support, support for the video toolbox framework, unquote. Real exciting stuff. If anyone is playing with tvOS 10.2 beta 1, let me know if you find anything else that was introduced, any features that Apple didn't mention. And don't worry, I'll keep it a secret. I'll just keep it between me, you, and some other listeners. Apple announced it will soon let developers reply to reviews on the iPhone, iPad, and Mac app stores. By the time 10.3 Goldmaster makes it to customers, Apple says devs will be able to reply to reviews. Developer feedback will be shown publicly on the review pages for all customers to see. This is nice in that if someone puts up a bogus review or an unfair review or just a clueless review, devs can now respond. Luckily, the number of times bogus or unfair or clueless reviews are posted are so far and few between. It's not like devs will be spending much time responding to the said types of reviews. If you're listening for the first time, that was my sarcasm voice. FYI, devs responding like such, quote, "You're an idiot. Let's see you spend your entire weekend with no sleep coding for ungrateful SOBs that don't understand the value of the app they purchased," unquote. Yeah, those responses will not help your case. I wonder if Apple will be screening the responses from devs. I will say this, devs, keep it clean. Apple does have bots that look for vulgarities. Now, Apple just needs to add that feature to the iTunes podcast store. It would be so great to respond to those one-star reviews where people thought they were reviewing iOS today and not today in iOS. I didn't talk about soccer, I'm telling you. One of the other things Apple is allowing for iOS 10.3 is the ability for devs to do a system-level request for app reviews. And hence why now there is that toggle that I mentioned earlier where you can toggle off the ability for devs to bug you for an app review. I mean, gently request you do an app review. If you just never do app reviews, or you find devs are abusing their newfound power, you can toggle on the kryptonite and turn off their superpower. Again, that was under Settings, iTunes and App Store. Scroll down to the bottom. It's called In-App Ratings and Reviews, and by default, it's actually turned on, and you want to turn it off if you don't want to be bugged about doing reviews. That all said, I would highly recommend you go through your app, look at what apps are using up the most battery on your phone, and if any of those apps are by independent app devs that are in the top 20 of your apps that you use on a regular basis, and you haven't written a review and you really like those apps, please, by all means, go out and leave a 5-star review for app devs. People so rarely do that, and that's why Apple's adding this so that they can make it easier for devs to request app reviews. But if you're someone that uses apps and you haven't written a 5-star review and you have apps you like, please take a few minutes and go support your app dev. They really do love that feedback, especially when it's good feedback. We are happy to have Away sponsoring us again. To save $20 on the best luggage, go to awaytravel.com/TII and use promo code TII. Away sent me their carry-on bag earlier last year, and as I said before, I love it. It has a 10,000 milliamp hour battery pack built in that will charge an iPhone 6 or 7 5 times. The best part is you can be charging it as you're walking through the airport, waiting online, or even in the restroom. I will be traveling again next week, going to San Diego, kicking off a bunch of trips over the next 3 months, and I am very, very grateful to have my Away bag and the security of the battery backup that comes with it. But beyond the battery pack, it is a great bag that meets my tough requirements. There's wheels under all 4 corners that swivel 360 degrees, making it easy to get down the aisle and smooth flow in the airport. And it's double wheels under each corner, something I really like. It is lightweight and very, very durable and comes with a lifetime warranty. If anything breaks, they will fix it or replace it for you for life. And there is a 100-day trial. If it's not up for you, just return it and get a full refund, no questions asked. I love when a company stands behind their products like that. The Away bag comes with a charging cord, and it comes in a really nice laundry bag. And on the inside, there is a bag for your shoes as well. They really looked at all the details in making the best carry-on bag I've ever owned or even seen. And even the shipping box has a nice Away travel artwork on the inside. Very, very Apple-ish. In addition to the original carry-on, they just added a second, slightly larger carry-on, and they also have a midsize and a large check-in bag, but only the 2 carry-on bags have the battery packs. They come in 9 colors as well, so there is definitely one to match your style. To save $20, go to awaytravel.com/TII and use promo code TII. Again, awaytravel.com/TII and use promo code TII to save $20. This will make a great post-holiday present to yourself.
Hello, Rob. In your latest podcast, you had a listener call in that was having an issue with the volume control on his watch. and using it with podcasts. And I have been using the Downcast app, and it has a good volume control, forward, skip forward and skip backward, and pause, all the features, and it's been pretty useful for me. Thanks for your great work. This is Jim in Lakewood, Colorado.
Jim, thank you for the feedback. Now let's go to some Google Plus community feedback. And this one is from Jim Kuntz, who says, quote, "Here's an idea for the Apple dev team. Wouldn't it be nice if they could modify the algorithm used for predictive text functions so that they don't move a predicted word to a new location after you type one more letter? It is so frustrating when iOS predicts the word you're trying to spell while you're entering a letter. As you move your finger up to select the word, while your finger is in motion, it rearranges the words choices and you end up selecting a completely different word. First world problems, I know." Unquote. Jim, I agree with you. I hate when that happens. To the email bag we go. Hi, Rob. Voicemail transcriptions are about to make me scream. I cannot listen to voicemails until they are extremely poorly transcribed. Is there any way out of this? I use visual voicemail only. Regards, Judy. Judy, I get so frustrated with visual voicemail. Sometimes it shows up right away. Sometimes it takes a few hours. Sometimes it's the next day before I see voicemails come in. I've mentioned before. For some reason, with me and my phone, I don't know what it is, but visual voicemail, I get so frustrated. And early on, visual voicemail transcriptions for me were really spot on. I was looking at them. I was surprised how accurate they are. It seems they've gotten worse over time. If anyone has any suggestions for Judy and myself, give us a call, 206-666-6364. That's 206-MOONDOG, or shoot us an email at todayinios@gmail.com.
Hey, Rob, it's Gary Belts from Kennedy Township again. I just got done listening to your most recent episode, and the lady that had the issues with the Sky Bell, while it is true that making the router name and password would alleviate some issues, as far as your comments about whether the Sky Bell is compatible with A, B, G, N, AC, and all the other wireless standards, all routers are supposed to be backwards compatible. And that if you have an AC router, for example, and you got an N device, it's supposed to allow it to connect and talk to the device at the max speed that that device can support. Resetting is a good idea, resetting at the factory, and then you would have to set it up again on a new Wi-Fi. Also delete the old wire so that the router doesn't get confused, or the Sky Bell rather. And one other thing you forgot to mention is checking for the latest firmware. Sometimes the manufacturers of these IoT devices release firmware updates. I know Ring does a great job at updating their firmware, so maybe there is an update to this Sky Bell that fixes some of the problems that she's having with the new router. I'm sure she's enjoying her Ring doorbell. From what I've heard, it's a lot better than the Sky Bell. I've never even heard of this doorbell until she sent you that email. Anyway, hope that helps, and keep up the great work. Cheers.
Gary, thanks for the feedback. We are now over 3,500 members in our Google Plus community and growing. Thanks to everyone that's joined, and thanks for the great posts. One new post in the Google Plus community that went up since the last episode was from Lawrence McFarland, who asked the following, quote, "Has anyone had any trouble after updating to iOS 10.2.1, unquote. Ken Ostrander replied, quote, "I haven't, but I haven't heard of anyone else with issues," unquote. Kenneth Berger replied, quote, "I updated my 6S and Series 1 watch and have noticed nothing seriously out of the ordinary except for the phone once not responding to the pause command while on Bluetooth," unquote. And Bob Burbiak replied, quote, "No issues here, 6S Plus, SE, 2 iPad Airs, 1 Apple Watch Series 2, okay," unquote. And Francis Tappy and Barbara E. also reported nothing to report with regards to issues, and that is what I have to report. Well, actually, I should say I updated an iPhone 6 Plus to iOS 10.2.1 Goldmaster, and it is fine as well. And when I had my iPad Pro and iPhone 7 Plus on Beta 4, I did not see any issues with them either. Since the last episode, there were also dozens and dozens of other new posts and comments in the TII Google Plus community, which is an Android fanboys free zone and a spammer free zone. Yep, it is the most civil Google Plus community covering iOS. Folks, go to todayinios.com/community to join in. And thanks to all 3,500 plus of you already in the community and contributing. There are reports in the Apple forum boards of AirPods disconnecting randomly during calls. Not a good thing. I can report having had this happen to me a few times, where one or the other AirPod would just stop working and just go dead, and the other would keep on going. Then I'd have to pull the one that's not working out of my ear and then put it back in, hoping that it would reset. A couple of times that did not work, and I had to actually recase it and then reinsert it to get it going again. Some are saying in the boards they only have this issue when they also have an Apple Watch paired. I'll have to see if this issue goes away the next time if I just take off my Apple Watch. And what is really interesting is the reports are this only happens when on a phone call. Listening to music or podcast, no issues. Talking on the phone, it becomes hit or miss. The other things that are being reported is this only seems to happen when using both AirPods at the same time, which is normally how I do calls. Well, until I hear the low power chime, then I recase one of them, and then I keep talking using the other until it gets from 10% down to 5%. In the time it takes one to go that's in use to go from 10% to 5%, the other one's charged, typically up to the 30 or 65 to 70% range. So it goes from 10% up to 65, 70% range, and the time the other one goes down from 10 to 5. Then I take the one that's 65, 70 out of the case, put it in my ear, and then I take the 5%, put that one back in the case. So that allows me to keep going without actually having to miss out. I think only once I messed up where they both died at the same time and I had to go to speakerphone. So far, my AirPods are working really well, and I am really liking the AirPods. Since the release of the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus in September, the iPhone 7 Plus has been supply constrained. It looks like Apple is finally at supply/demand harmony. So just about a third of the way into Q1, and Apple is now at a point where if you want an iPhone 7 or 7 Plus, it should be available for you right away. It will be interesting to see what Tim Cook has to say about this on next week's conference call. Most likely next week, right after the conference call, I'll put a blog post up covering some of the items. I won't get an episode out because I'm going to be traveling next week until mid or late next week. Going over what was said on the conference call, but do look Tuesday evening for a post to go up covering some of the key points from the conference call. More reports, this time from the Wall Street Journal, about 3 new iPhones in 2017. An iPhone 7S, an iPhone 7S Plus, those at 4.7 and 5.5 inches respectively, and then an iPhone 8 with a wraparound 5.8-inch OLED screen. This report is saying that the earpiece, FaceTime camera, and Touch ID will all be embedded into the OLED display, so the entire front of the phone will be a screen, no bezel, no buttons. Sticking with the iPhone 8 rumors, Ming-Chi Kuo is reporting that Apple will skip over the Touch ID sensor and instead go with several new biometric sensors. This includes a new optical fingerprint sensor as well as a facial recognition sensor. Ming-Chi also sees OLED screens in the iPhone 8's future. However, he says the optical sensors needed for this to work are still in early development and are likely not going to be available for this year for mass market. So it's not saying there will be no iPhone 8 this year, just that the facial recognition and new optical fingerprint sensors are more likely a 2018 or later feature. CNET put out an article that was titled, "Everything We Know So Far About the iPhone 8. Guess they heard my episode earlier this month going over things. Here's what CNET put together. The iPhone 8 will have either an A10X or an A11 processor. It will have a ceramic or glass body. It will have wireless charging, see previous item. The display will extend edge to edge, top to bottom. It will have either virtual home button or no home button. It will have enhanced water resistance, dual cameras, enabled AR capabilities, support for Apple Pencil, seems that was just thrown in to make the list longer, and an iris scanner as alternative to Touch ID, which is interesting because other reports say it would be in conjunction with. We can add, from earlier reports, maybe a combo of Touch ID and facial recognition there, so that's really how they should have reported it. And they forgot the whole stainless steel bezel rumor that we talked about. Come on, guys, get with it. Long of the short, there's already a bunch of rumors out there about the iPhone 8 or iPhone 2017 or whatever we're going to call the next iPhone. on the last episode with regards to the rumor of a 10.5 or 10 point something new iPad Pro and for it to be released in Q1 or Q2, I said, quote, so far I've not seen any, quote, leaked, unquote, photos of the 10 point something size iPad with edge-to-edge screen. This makes me very, very skeptical of these rumors, unquote. Well, guess what? A new rumor over on Apple Insider says now the new iPads will not launch until the second half of 2017. Shocker. Expect the bar to be moved some more on these iPad rumors in the future. Okay, this next one is an interesting one. There's a research company / group of short sellers that put out a report about Energos, Energos. I can never pronounce that. Anyway, Energos, we mentioned them previously as possibly offering their charge technology to Apple. Well, the short sellers called Copperfield Research, because it sounds so legit, they claim that by looking at a bunch of Apple patents, that they do not believe Apple will be using their technology, Energos' technology, but rather Apple's own homegrown technology. They show a bunch of Apple patents and diagrams from Apple patents to back up their claim. Apple is passing on Energos, is what they say. But two things to note. One, Copperfield Research is made up of not just short sellers, but anonymous researchers. And two, Apple patents, as I've said before, indicate either what is already released or that which will never be released. Rarely, if ever, does it indicate future products to be released. The ticker symbol for Energos is WATT, W-A-T-T. It is a stock to watch. As if the short sellers drive it down some more, it may be a buying opportunity. Already it's down more than 22% since this report was published. It is currently trading at $14.50, but I should point out exactly a year ago, it was trading at $4.50. So lots of room for this one to fall as well. Just when I see short sellers like this using Apple patents that have already been released to make a point, to me, what I see is an investment opportunity. In full and fair disclosure, I do not yet have any position taken with WATT, Watt, but I am thinking of taking a long position. And so if I do invest in it, it's going to be to buy it for a long position, not to short it. This next one I had to roll my eyes on. It is titled, quote, Apple working on enhanced Siri capabilities for next generation iPhones, unquote. You think? That same rumor has been out every year since Siri was released. Pretty much the exact same title. I will not get into the details other than to say, no duh, of course Apple is working on improving Siri on the next iPhone, and the one after that, and the one after that, and so on and so on. Samsung issued a report on why the Galaxy Note 7s exploded. They blamed bad batteries and rushed manufacturing. But really, those were the byproducts of the real issue. Samsung tried to shorten the design and production window to beat Apple out of the gate with the Note 7. That ultimately led to a series of errors that missed the issue of the batteries in the early testing, actually in all the testing. Trying to react to their competitor ultimately is what doomed the Note 7. They will be talking about this in MBA classes for years and years to come. But this was a whole issue of culture, and that's where the real mistake came. They tried to react to Apple rather than just work on their own products and release their own products on their own schedule.
Hello, Rob. I wanted to let the community know about something. This is Justin in Pennsylvania. I know for a lot of people, maybe if you don't want to wait for your AirPods, I know there's a lot of back ordering and stuff. I just want everyone to know there's a website called AirPods.isinstock.com. That's AirPods spelled normally, .isinstock.com. It allows you to pick your local Apple stores, and it will notify you when AirPods show up. It also does it for AT&T online and Best Buy online as well. They said they're going to add some more. I mean, there is a weird thing where you can pay for them to notify you before everyone else, but I haven't done that. When I get paid this week, the next time I see one, I'm just gonna pick one up from the store when it pops up. They usually get one or two pop up a week, and they're one-time notifications. So if you aren't able to purchase it or if you miss it, you'll have to reset it up again. It sends you an email, and you can, like I said, the email as a VIP, and it notifies you right away. That's pretty cool. Little hack to get your AirPods, especially if you already ordered them. You can cancel that pre-order if you can also pick them up at your local Apple store. So just tell people who are maybe a little anxious to get them that hadn't ordered yet. Just want to tell them about this. So thanks. I love the show. Bye.
Justin, as always, thanks for your feedback. Into the email bag we go. Hi, Rob. In relation to the Stuart from Dundee comments about using voiceover with the new AirPods, a blind podcaster from Australia has produced a detailed podcast about how the AirPods work with voiceover and a number of Apple devices. It's well worth a listen and will answer questions about how a number of audio sources are transferred to the AirPods. And you can find this at, well, email me today at iOS@gmail.com. I'll send you the link to it. Thanks for everything, Rob. Rocco from Sydney, Australia. FYI, when you email me for that link, just say you want the link for the audio sources for the AirPods from episode 419. Back to the email bag. Hi, Rob. Did you ever get the plug from Indiegogo? I was thinking of getting one. What are your thoughts? David D. from Springfield, Mo. Well, David, the last email from them was, quote, plug is on the way. Expected delivery next month. Next month being February. Hey, backers, we hope everyone's 2017 is off to a great start. Great news. The plug is on a boat headed our way as we speak. It should be here within the next month or so. Keep a lookout for the backer kit surveys as we get closer to the delivery date. Unquote. So, nope, David, I haven't gotten it yet, but sometime, hopefully in February, it will come, and I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling, so I'll be able to give you some good feedback on how well that works.
Hey, Rob, my name is Barry, and I'm calling you about, in one of the past episodes, you had described how Apple had changed the home button on the Apple TV remote. I just want to let you know that if you go to In Settings on Apple TV, under the Remotes and Devices, you can set the home button back to home screen if you like. Thanks for the great show, and thanks for all you do.
Barry, thank you. I need to take more time and look through some of those settings, but thank you so much for that tip. That will save me so much frustration with my Apple TV. Valentine's Day is about 3 weeks out. Forget chocolate and forget flowers. Think about the sheets you're trying to get between and, well, make that your present this year. Yes, I know, kind of subtle, like a brick through a plate glass window. But hey, why be coy? Don't even let there be a chance of misunderstanding. Give your significant other the best sheets you have ever been between. Sheets from Boll & Branch. The sheets from Boll & Branch are made from 100% organic cotton, not because organic cotton is the buzzword, but because organic cotton is incredibly soft. And the sheets get softer each time you wash them. We've had ours for over a year now, and they are incredible and they are really soft. You'll get the nicest sheets you've ever owned for about half the price of what stores and boutiques would be charging for sheets of far lower quality. I really could not believe how excited my wife was to get these new sheets, and the box they came in and individual pouches of the sheets, pillowcases, well, the presentation was incredible. Get $50 off your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com. Use promo code TII. Again, bollandbranch.com, promo code TII. These sheets are only sold online at bollandbranch.com. You can't buy them in any stores. That is how they keep the pricing low and free of markups. But here's the best part. Don't take my word for it. Try them out for yourself. 30 days, risk-free, or 30 nights. Boll & Branch is so sure you're going to fall in love with these sheets, they'll give you 30 nights to try them out. If you don't love them for any reason, they'll take them back and refund you without any hassle at all. They also have towels, and the ones I've purchased for my wife are by far the best towels in the house. And when I pull a towel out to dry off and it doesn't have the Boll & Branch label on it, I'm like, oh. Again, Valentine's Day is coming. Take action now for the most appropriate Valentine's Day gift ever. Don't wait until it's too late. Go now and get some of your Valentine's Day shopping done with at Boll & Branch. Go to bollandbranch.com and use promo code TII to save $50 off your first set of sheets. Switching gears, some of you are into leather. I know this based on the pictures you've sent me. I too am into leather and have more than a few leather outfits that I like to break out for special occasions. I am, of course, talking about leather cases for my iOS devices and laptops. And for those of you looking for a unique leather experience for your iOS device, there is a Kickstarter project called Nezd, N-E-Z-T. Don't ask me where it comes from. It is a handcrafted leather portfolio and iPad covers. There is just something about a nice handmade leather cover for your iOS device. They say Nezd is, quote, an all-leather portfolio cover designed by a combination of modern and traditional handmade with quality leather to last you a lifetime, unquote. They are looking at raising just $2,000, and they're over 55% of the way there. You have until Saturday, February 11th at 8 p.m. Central Time if you want to be part of this one. Right now, pricing is $90 for their Nezd Organizer leather case. So if you are into leather and are looking for something with a unique feel and quality look to it, search for NEZT at Kickstarter.com or in the show notes for episode 419 at todayandios.com. There really is something special about having that unique hand-created leather case that no one else has for your iOS device. Makes you stand out a little.
Hey, Rob. Scott from Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill. Calling you back. Just heard the latest show. Just calling you back, giving you the update on my iPhone 6S Plus. As I said, I sent it back to Apple. I kind of leaned in the description of the phone wouldn't answer when I touched the screen, and they grouped it into the multi-screen touch issue or whatever, the issue with the screen or something. They repaired the unit or what have you. Like I said, it was shipped back. I got it. The phone's been working perfect. I loaded that encrypted backup that you told me to do. I loaded that on the unit. I didn't do any kind of fresh set the phone up. It's new, and everything's been going perfect with the unit. So evidently they must have sent me a refurbished unit or another unit that had the multi-touch issue, brand new from Apple, and they either changed the screen or sent me another unit, what have you. It's the issue is done and the phone's back to perfect. So I'm happy. I'm ecstatic. Everything's perfect. My question to you and maybe the audience is, I have two iPhones, iPhone 7 and an iPhone 6 and 6S or what have you. And I'm having problems with my Plantronic Legend headset. They keep disconnecting. I don't know if you're familiar with multi-point systems, but one phone is for business, one phone is for personal, and they disconnect one of the units to disconnect from the other, and it's like an ongoing headache now with the new update on the software. And I went on and ordered the AirPods or whatever you call them. And my question is, will the AirPods units work with two phones, and will they allow me to answer either phone that's ringing? I couldn't find anything online with multi-point access or anything like that, and that's what I want to know. Will the AirPods allow me to use two Apple phones that I carry with me all the time and answer whatever one's ringing and if one's playing music or what have you? If you can find that out for me, I greatly appreciate it. Thanks, Rob, for everything you do. Talk to you later. Thanks.
Hi, Scott. Thanks for the voicemail feedback. And per your question, if both your iPhones are using the same iCloud account, then yes, they should work fine between the two devices. Now, if you're listening to music on one and a phone call comes in on the other, then it might not switch. You're going to have to tap on the one, and then you can then override it and choose the AirPods on the other one, and it'll stop playing the music on the first one. But it won't be able to where one's ringing. You say you have two phones and they're 6 feet away and you're listening to music and the phone call comes in, tapping on that is not going to be able to pick up the other one because it's going to be locked in on the first one that you're playing the music with. But they does switch between multiple iOS devices as long as you're using the same iCloud accounts pretty seamlessly. Into the email bag we go. Hi, Rob. I've been listening for over 3 years. Per episode 416 on the artwork, that was the first time seeing your picture. 3 things. You do look like your voice, geeky. Your wife is gorgeous, and that kitchen backsplash is nice. Keep up the great podcast. Regards, JS. Well, JS, thanks for the feedback and the kind words. But, sounds like there's a little bit of coveting going on with regards to my backsplash. Back to the email bag. Hi, Rob. Yesterday I purchased my Apple AirPods, and I would like to share my thoughts on them. So here goes. Appearance. Looks futuristic, and I had gotten some interesting comments on my Facebook post, but that's to be expected. Given another 3 to 6 months, that unique style will be a driving reason for people wanting these as gifts or to plunk down their own cash to get a pair. Weight and fitting and staying in the ear, these are so light. Without a cord pulling down on them, they stayed in my ears. Sometimes I did feel the need to push them back in, but I like my buds to be in there nice and tight. Even when they are more loose, no worries about them falling out or jiggling away. If you can wear the AirPods comfortably, then your ears are ready for the AirPods. Battery life. As expected, I got 5 to 6 hours on a charge and at least 4 charges from the case. For the microphones, I will agree that the audio isn't that great coming from the mics. However, I did use them to make calls and they came out great. People forget that physics does not allow for full range of sound coming from such small mics as these. Pairing with them with the iPhone 7 Plus, the initial pairing was a breeze. I describe it as meeting two best buddies. It was that fast. Range in signal, wow, was able to walk through my whole house, 1,500 square feet, without as much as a signal glitch. The sound quality, just amazing. When paired with other Bluetooth devices, these earbuds sound fantastic. However, when paired with the iPhone 7 or 7 Plus, the true potential of these AirPods is released. The bass was quite substantial, and the treble was crystal clear. The best sounding earbud I've ever owned. Other thoughts. Over the past 3 to 4 months, I've read or listened to one review after another, and I can say that the vast majority of reviews out there are full of it. Clearly, they either don't know what good sound is or just are outright biased. So what do I know about sound to make such claims? I'm a professional DJ. I get many compliments on how good my sound system sounds. Many times, it's the best they have ever heard. Sound that good doesn't come by accident. I also do some live sound as well, and at the risk of reinforcing stereotypes, I am visually impaired. Need I say more on that topic? To sum it up, I know my sound, and these AirPods are awesome. They are worth $159 US. Regards, Shane in St. John's, Newfoundland. Shane, thanks so much for that review.
Hey, Rob, this is George in North Carolina, calling from a iPhone 6 with a wired headphone. Long-time listener, episode 1. And first-time caller. I got a question. I'd like to use my iPhone or iPads like a Bluetooth headset. And specifically, this is motivated by smart TVs no longer having 3.5 millimeter standard audio output jacks for headphones, but they've got digital outputs. And they do make digital to Bluetooth. So it seems to me that what would work well for me is to be able to use my iPhone and use that to pick up the Bluetooth signal and listen to it on my headphones, as I do all the time your podcasts. So if you have any thoughts or your listeners have any thoughts, it'd be thanks a lot from George in Cape Fear, North Carolina, USA. Thanks.
George, thanks for the call, and I hope it's sometime before episode 836 before you call back in. Per your question, I'm going to throw this one out to the audience. Has anyone ever set up for their iOS device to be a Bluetooth receiver to grab signal off another Bluetooth device? If you have, was there a specific app that you used, or was there some trick in the settings that you were able to figure out how to make that work? Give us a call, 206-666-6364. That's 206-MOONDOG, or shoot an email to todayinos@gmail.com. Back to the email bag. Hi, Rob. You rarely talk of jailbreaking these days. Please give your thoughts on jailbreaking in general these days, and in particular on this article about jailbreaking iOS 10.2. Thanks for all you do, and to help us get the most from our iOS devices. Regards, Dr. John M. Well, hi, Dr. John. Not much to report. The iOS 10.2 jailbreak is not yet available. You can jailbreak up to iOS 10.1.1. And the latest news about the 10.2 jailbreak is about needing to save blobs. And I've said it before. If a jailbreak will not work for you out of the box on a brand new iPhone running the latest version of iOS, then it's not a viable solution. When it requires you to save blobs before updating, yeah, not high on my list and not something I will recommend. Untethered and out of the box, latest version of iOS need to be the situation to call it a good jailbreak. Also, I don't talk much about jailbreaking as the need for it's greatly declined in recent years, at least for the non-power users, let's say. In the good old days, I could justify a jailbreak for almost any user. You would be hard-pressed to justify it for more than a very small percentage of users today. Tell me why I'm wrong. If you are still jailbreaking, tell me the reasons why. Tell me why my wife or my mom should jailbreak. 206-666-6364. That's 206-MOONDOG.
Hey, Rob, it's Brent out here in Oklahoma City, and I just got through listening to your last episode, and I heard you mention some of the information on the single sign-in with the Apple TV. I can tell you with my experience, I am very disenchanted with the whole single sign-in thing. In theory, it sounds great, but in application, I'm thinking, and from my experience, it's failed miserably. I've had several times when I've gone into one of the apps that my DirecTV supports, yet to be met with the sign-in, and I still have to go through the code entering process, and it's not letting me single sign-in on several of the apps. I've also had issues where I've single signed in on one of the apps to go back later, and it signed me out, and then it won't let me single sign back in again, and I have to go through the code process again. And being visually impaired, you used to be able to read, where the screen reader used to be able to read the sign-on screen with the code process, and now Apple has made that so that doesn't even read anymore with the voiceover on the Apple TV. So in a sense, I have to find someone sighted to help me with that, and that is very inconvenient as I live alone. I think the single sign-in has a long way to go. I don't know if others are experiencing this, but I have talked to other people that I know that have had the same issue. So there's definitely a long way to go with that. It will be great if they ever get it perfected, but I can tell you so far, I have been very disappointed with it, and it's just been more of a headache. You know, I mean, at least before I could at least access the code screen and go through all of that mess. Now I can't even access the code screen, and it still won't single sign me on. Like I said, I don't know if others have had that issue, but I've had, I have the latest update on the Apple TV and things like that. Definitely a long way to go, I think, to get that perfected. And I'm experiencing a lot of frustration. Just my 2 cents worth, and not worth a cup of coffee, but whatever. Anyway, appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time.
Brent, thanks for the feedback. Into the email bag we go. Hi, Rob. No search of Google has revealed a viable or sensible answer to this frustrating problem. I use the Notes app a lot, more than any other, for making rough bus timetables or schedules as part of my job. This involves a lot of numbers side by side, but the app insists on turning them into hyperlinks. Every time I go to edit a note, it scrolls to the top and hyperlinks almost everything. Surely, after 10 years, Apple have provided a facility to give an option to turn this off, but I can't find it. Help! Best wishes, Alf, Sheffield, UK. Alf, I'm not sure what to say there. I don't have a solution, but I will throw it out to the audience. So if anyone has a solution for Alf, please give us a call, 206-666-6364. That's 206-MOONDOG, or shoot an email to todayinios@gmail.com. Back to the email bag. Hi, Rob. I'm the proud owner of an iPhone 6 Plus recently. I managed to get my hands on an iPhone 6S for very cheap, but now I'd like to unlock it from its original carrier. I see that there are a lot of options online and wonder, number one, can I do it myself? And number two, is there anybody better to do it than the carrier who actually charges $50? Regards, Steve. Hi, Steve. First, I would suggest contacting the company you want to sign up with and use the iPhone on their network with and see what advice they have. Depending on the state of the phone, there are multiple paths you can take to get this working. If you go back to the original carrier to start with, you may find you ask for the wrong type of help. Your new carrier will have the most incentive to give you the right advice. That all said, if someone listening is looking to unlock their own phone that they had from day one, then yes, in that case, absolutely go to the original carrier and ask for an unlock. Hi, Rob. It's been a while since I've reached out, but I wanted to tell you that my collection now includes a 21.5-inch iMac, upgraded to the 9.7-inch iPad Pro, and now a Series 1 Space Gray Apple Watch. What a combination. The ability to unlock the iMac with the watch is awesome. Now I'm just learning the watch, but there is definitely a place for it in my space. The best part is that my wife, who used to mock my desire to have one, saw mine for 5 minutes and decided to take the one I bought and send me back for another one of my own. You've helped educate me into expanding my presence in the Apple ecosystem in an educated manner. Thanks, sir. That is truly appreciated. Regards, Peter from Austin. Peter, thanks for the kind words and the feedback.
This is Kim from Salem, Oregon, and just for Stuart Duncan from Dundee, Scotland, who was wondering if the Apple AirPods worked with multiple devices and VoiceOver. Actually, they do work with multiple devices and VoiceOver because I watched a podcast on applevis.com that demonstrated the AirPods working seamlessly with the iPhone, and then the person doing the podcast switched to the Apple Watch, and that switched seamlessly. And then they went to their Mac, which you had to pair with the little button on the case, and the Apple TV, same pairing with the case. So they worked seamlessly. That was great. And one of the reasons why I am definitely thinking of getting a pair, hopefully for Valentine's Day, for my parents. Of course, given how long it takes for the AirPods to come, they might come a little bit after that, but I'm totally fine with that. Especially since I had a Jabra Bluetooth earpiece that I didn't really use much, and I accidentally stepped on it, and it went crack, and so no more earpiece. So besides, I think the AirPods are a much better deal anyway. Not because of the price, but just because of what they can do. Looking forward to actually getting them and playing around with them. I'll talk to you later. Love your show, and have a great week. Bye. Hi, Rob. Kim from Salem, Oregon again. And I just realized that it might help if I actually told you what podcast to go to on AppleVis. It's it's the unboxing and demonstration of the Apple AirPods. So it's about an hour or so, and it's got a lot of good information. And I'm sorry that Stuart Duncan's the other headphones that he got didn't work. I found that surprising, considering it's the whole W1 chip and all. But wow. Talk to you later. Bye.
Kim, as always, thank you so much for your feedback. One more email. Hey, Rob. Your Hey Siri, Can You See Me segment inspired me to ask, Hey Siri, can I talk to you for a moment? There are some pretty good responses to that one, too. Regards, Dave. Thanks, Dave, for the suggestion. Can I talk to you for a moment?
Of course. That's what I'm here for.
Can I talk to you for a moment?
I'll always be here for you, Robert.
Can I talk to you for a moment?
What's on your mind, Robert?
Can I talk to you for a moment?
Yes. Tell me your hopes, your dreams, your dinner plans.
Can I talk to you for a moment?
Go ahead, Robert. I'm listening.
Well, this episode came out a little later than I expected. For those of you that are longtime listeners, you'll remember about 4 years ago, I had a little problem with a kidney stone. Well, this past weekend put me back in the hospital. So I remember thinking, I got to go to the hospital. That's going to throw my whole schedule off. And it did. But I was able to get it out before, the end of the week. So I'm glad I'm able to get this one out. And I love the fact that when I got my CAT scan and talked to the doctor, and he said, yeah, it's starting to pass. And I'm like, okay. And I go, well, is there any others in there? He goes, oh, yeah, there's another one in there. Don't know when it's coming. Could be any time. So I'm like, joy. So anyway, for any of those of you that have passed a kidney stone, remember the first time I thought I was going to die. The second time I was like, I'm going to tough it out. And that lasted all of 10 minutes. So it didn't work out. I guess as the doctor said, once a stoner, always a stoner when it comes to passing kidney stones. Oh well. Next episode, I'm going to try to do from the hotel room when I'm in San Diego next week. Again, I'm going to try. We'll see how well that works. I'm going to be at the Training 2017 conference in San Diego, and I'm going to be doing a 3-hour session on how to podcast. And that is on, I believe, Wednesday, and then I'm flying back on Thursday. But hopefully I will get an episode up around February 1st, 2nd, could be the 3rd or 4th. We'll cross our fingers and hope I can get one done while I'm in San Diego. Thanks again to Boll & Branch for sponsoring this episode. Folks, go right now to bollandbranch.com and use promo code TII to save $50 off the nicest sheets and cotton products you have ever owned, with free shipping to boot. And before we go today, I want to remind you to send in your feedback for the show. 206-666-6364. That's 206-MOONDOG. Or record your feedback and email to the show at todayandios@gmail.com. Feedback can be a question or comment for something someone said on this episode, or it can be a question or rant you have about something else. An app, product review, good or bad, as long as it is iOS related, it is welcomed. I'm always looking for new artwork to feature that you've created on an iOS device. Just put some TII branding on it and send it in, especially if it's you in front of an Apple store. And of course, we're always looking for more music created on an iOS device to play on the show. It's your show, and your feedback is greatly desired. Also, don't forget to check out our moderated Google Plus community by going to todayandios.com/community. For $20 off your order of the best luggage at an affordable price, please visit awaytravel.com/TII and use promo code TII when you check out. Thanks again, Away, for supporting this show. Finally, check out the newly updated TII app, which is free to you. We now have the Apple Watch app included. Just download the episode onto your iOS device, then tap the little watch app icon, and it will then transfer it over to your watch, and then you can listen to the show while you're out jogging away from your phone. Search for TII in the iTunes App Store. It is the best way to consume the show and to get push notifications each time a new episode of TII is released. It's fully voiceover friendly, of course. Please go right now and download the TII app. Until the next time, I'm your host, Rob, reminding you to phone different. This show is hosted on Libsyn.com and part of the Wizard Media Network. If you are looking for hosting, go to Libsyn.com. That's Libsyn.com for hosting for your podcast and for creation of your own smartphone app. The Today in iOS podcast can also be found on the free Stitcher radio app. Just search for TII.
I'm having problems with iOS 10.2. I don't see a download area for it on iTunes for 10.02. If somebody could give me a call, 772. Would appreciate any help you have. I have no audio on my iPad, and I'm a canine trainer. I need my speakers on my iPad for Skype. So if somebody can give me a call, I'd appreciate it. 5. Thank you.
Yeah.